This is Chew on This with your host, Monique Baker McCormick, and her co-host, Michael Van Tull, powered by the McCormick Report, Detroit's longest-running online community newsletter since 2008.
Good evening. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock and it's time for Chew on This Detroit. I am Monique Baker McCormick, the host.
And I'm Michael Van Tull, co-host.
He's jumping in already. He can't wait. We're both excited to be here, and thank you so much for tuning in. This, again, is Thursday at 7 o'clock. You can look for a new episode every Thursday. And they can also like us and share our information.
Go to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Chew on This Detroit.
That's right.
And watch us, yes.
That's right. So we have a exciting guest today. But before we go into our guest, I wanted to ask you, Mike, what do you think about the rents right now in Detroit? You know, there's a lot of talk about gentrification.
They're high.
And how people can't really afford to live in the city anymore because all of the things that are going on in the city.
You know,
what do you think?
Those new condos going up along the river, Midtown, Corktown, downtown, they look great. But the prices of those condo units are sky high. And there is no way that many Detroiters can afford to live in the new Detroit that's going on right now. So unbelievable. It's very high, too high.
You think we being priced out?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We're getting priced out of our city. Priced out.
And it's funny, it's not just downtown.
But, you know,
it's not just happening downtown.
It's like a cost of success. Like, things are
getting better.
There's more activity. There's more economic activity, more condos,
the
more
best
hotels.
Riverfront in the country.
More restaurants. You know, I took a walk around Capitol Park the other day, and I think the average price of a meal was around $75 to $100 for a meal.
Yeah.
It's nice, but there's not enough out there for the normal, regular Detroiter.
The average,
we're getting priced out. Yes.
Yeah, middle class person.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about back in the day. Remember when Kwame was mayor? Mayor Kilpatrick, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit used to be a Black Mecca, even downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go and we would hang out downtown, and every place was ours. But it's funny because I work downtown literally every day, just about. I'm downtown, and it doesn't feel like the city I remember in the sense that things are changing for the better. I'm not saying that we're going in a negative direction. I'm saying that it's so different that I don't even know what's going on downtown, even though I'm there. I'm a commissioner right in the midst of all of it. And I feel like a outsider.
Yeah, and it's very, very expensive.
And just the fact that I'm born and raised in this city, and it's coming back. I just want to make sure that as we move towards greatness, everything. Like I said, I'm for the changes, but I want to make sure that Black people have some part of that.
And people who do not have that big
means.
Deep bank account.
That's right.
Right. Because, the average Detroiter thinks about transportation, just getting downtown to those areas where all the action is. Then you got to park. And I
Parking
noticed
is-
some nights the prices for parking can go up to $50 or more.
Right.
And then you gotta, wherever you're going, there's a entry price to the ticket price to get in the door. Even if it's the Tigers or the Lions, those prices are higher. So it becomes a very prohibitive evening. You can't afford it.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is.
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Other than people, I think I see more people coming back into the communities now. So we have
they
more
might-
Black businesses in the neighborhood. People are feeling like, I'm just gonna, build up my neighborhood.
That might be
Avenue
an
of
answer.
fashion.
It might be one of the answers. Yeah.
Along 6 Mile, even along James Cousin here, we
Mm-hmm.
have a nice strip of Black-owned businesses. And we don't have to be only in the neighborhood, but I think it's kind of a place we've been driven kind of back.
Yeah, I even see
to.
6 Mile and Livernois is kind of building up a little bit now. I think they call that the Fitzgerald area.
That's
now.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe that's one of the answers.
And I think it's a great answer. We just get
Yeah.
back to our roots.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yep.
But while we're sitting here talking, we do have a guest that's here, and we can't wait to start talking to her. Toya Bond. Toya is here. She is an author, Amazon best-selling author, a mental health advocate, and an award-winning podcaster.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you.
Welcome to Chew on This, Detroit.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ms. McCormick, for having me here this evening. This is such an honor.
I'm so glad to hear that you were not only here today, but we've been trying to get you on.
Yes.
Yes.
The land bank, right?
Yes.
And so we're talking about housing and rents. And what do you think about the subject matter that we just talked about?
I think that we are well on to changing the city of Detroit into a much bigger, broader place than just a neighborhood where people grow up and live. It's becoming on a much greater spectrum. So I'm seeing a lot of improvements, a lot of people moving into the city as opposed to moving out of the city. So
1% increase. That's what I hear.
And I always thought that we were a little bit behind Chicago and Toronto, some of the other cities. If it wasn't for white flight, if it wasn't for the big three that did not invest in the center of this city decades and decades ago, I think we should have been up there along with Chicago and Toronto. And I think now we're getting ready to get back into that. But the only thing I think is that what about the people who were here all the time and just got priced out? It's a heavy price to pay for success.
Yes.
And they went through it in Chicago because I remember because my parents used to live in Chicago, and they would come down to the United Center. And around the United Center used to be nothing. But then we started to see new windows going into some of the brick buildings, and the landscaping got better and better. And all of a sudden, bam, that was the new part of Chicago where the United Center is now.
Yeah.
It changed it. So, but it does come at a price.
Progress
price,
comes
yes.
at a price.
Yes, it does.
That's the state of things right now. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a lifelong Detroiter.
Yes, I was born and raised in the city of Detroit, East Side Detroit.
All right.
I attended Columbus Middle School. I graduated from Denby High School, class of '93.
All right.
So I went on to Wayne State University. I have had a very beautiful life here in the city, and I enjoy what I do. I work for the city of Detroit, I'll just say that. And I help Detroiters become homeowners, and I'm very proud of the work that I do. I take a lot of pride in my work. But aside from all of that, I am a business owner. I have a small home-based business. I can bake the best pound cake
Yes,
in the city
yes,
of
you
Detroit.
can.
Peach
Yes,
cobbler.
yes, you can. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I am
okay.
self-taught. I've been watching my mom and my grandmother bake all of my life, so I'm a really good baker.
You could have brought us something to chew on,
I
right?
should have
Chew
done
on
that.
Right. This was Chew on This Detroit. Yep.
I should have done that. And then aside
Next
from that,
time. Yeah.
I am an author. I'm a public speaker. I am a mental health advocate, and I'm also a suicide prevention and awareness advocate. I have certifications in the field. What brought me to this work in suicide prevention is 5 years ago, my father took his own life in a murder-suicide, and his death changed my life in so many ways, and I have decided to turn my pain into a greater purpose, and this is why I do what I do.
And I appreciate, there's one person that connected us, your aunt, Catherine.
My Aunt Catherine Bond,
Yes.
yes.
She introduced us, and I heard your voice, and I interviewed you because of all the things you were doing, and I heard your voice, and I said, "Yes, that's a radio voice." She's so clear.
Aw.
She sounds so clear.
Well, thank you.
And that's one of the things that attracted me to you, and after that, I asked you to be my co-host.
Yes,
when we
he
were on
did.
the Praise
He did.
Network.
Yes, I went on the Michael Van Tull show. It was in I want to say around August of 2017 or something like that.
Around there, yeah.
I went on your show for the sole purpose of
Yes.
promoting my business. That's
Correct.
all, nothing
Correct.
more.
That's correct.
And I went on his show, and at the end of my interview where I'm talking about my business, I'm promoting my work, and he says, I want you to come back and be my co-host. And, people tell me things all the time, but I'm like, yeah, okay, he's just talking. And sure enough, months later, he called me and he offered me a contract to work with him. And I just want to take this time to say, Michael, I thank you for trusting me to be your co-host, to sit alongside you. You are a very prominent figure in the city of Detroit. You have run close to missionary Hattie Humphrey, who was also, along with Martha
I was on the
Jean
radio
the
with her
Queen.
for 25 years.
He was on the radio with her. And so for you and missionary Hattie Humphrey to trust me to be on your platform, that meant the world to me. So when my father passed away, it was kind of during COVID and all of that, and we were locked indoors. The studio was locked down.
Yep.
So I decided that I was going to go on my own and start my own podcast. But I attribute my success in radio, public speaking, all of that to you, Michael, because you gave me the chance to be who I am.
And I'm
The
glad
platform.
that was the best
Yes.
decision I
Right.
made, and I'll
Yes.
stick with it
Wow.
to this
Forever
day.
indebted to you. There's nothing you can't call me and ask me
Mike.
for. I would say no.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you.
Good work, Mike.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes,
And-
Michael is
Beautiful.
amazing. And actually, in one of my
Beautiful.
books I wrote, I have a page dedicated to Michael because, Michael, let me just say this.
That's nice.
We will probably talk about this later, but my father was a radio broadcast host. Many years ago, my father had a radio show called Speaking of Sports. And so I always wanted to do radio and television because of my dad. And Michael, you gave me that opportunity. And I didn't know that shortly after you gave me the opportunity that I was lose my father. I didn't realize that he would die in such a tragic way. So you allowed me to walk in my father's footsteps. When he first heard me on your radio show, he sent me a beautiful text message telling me, well prepared, good job, I love you. And to this day, I still have that message.
I'm glad that
Wow.
he sent you that message. I'm
Yes.
glad that he heard your
And the
voice.
message is in the book, too.
And now you have turned that into your mission now to help others to go through and deal with those traumatic events. When you came to the studio today, you asked me how was I doing, and I said, "Do I answer? Just say I'm just doing fine like everybody else, or do I be honest?" And you said, "Just be honest." And I said, "Yeah, I'm ready for vacation."
Yeah,
you
you
said
need that.
that's what I should say. Be honest about how
honest.
you feel. Don't just say what everybody expects you to say. Is I'm doing fine. No, be honest.
Yeah, you got to be honest about your feelings.
So how many books have you written now?
I've written a total of 4 books. I have a cookbook that I've written, but in the works of suicide prevention, there are 3 books. The first book is called Speaking of Love, which is a book that's dedication to my father. I talk about my journey healing behind losing him to suicide. And then my most recent book is called Love Behind the Camera. My father was a cameraman for Channel 7 News for 30 years. And so this book here
And I love the illustration.
Thank
the
you.
front cover
Who
is
did that?
beautiful.
I had an
With
AI
Detroit.
software packet help me
Package,
with that.
dude.
Yeah.
I was at the book signing for that.
Yes, Michael was
Say
at my
that.
book signing to support me on this. But my father was a radio, TV broadcast engineer. He was a cameraman for Channel 7 for many years. And so this book, Love Behind the Camera, there are no books written to help you explain to a child how their father or mother has died by suicide. How do you tell a child that their parent is no longer here? So that's what this book is. It's a conversation starter. So if you have lost if a child has lost their parent by suicide, this book can help you talk to a child on their level to tell them the truth, but not the graphic details.
Can you read a paragraph out of that? Just
Sure,
a paragraph.
Sure,
Just-
I can. I'll go directly to the page where. Okay, I'm describing here how this little girl's father's died. This book is about a little girl who loves her father. He's a cameraman in the city of Detroit. He takes her to all these beautiful places in Detroit, Belle Isle, things like that. And he's always happy. And he even bought his daughter a camera because he has his camera with him everywhere he goes.
Sounds so real.
Yes, yes, and this is based
your
on
life.
Yes, it's
Yes.
inspired by my true life. And one day he didn't pick her up from school, and she came to find out that he died. So how do you tell a child that their parent died, and yet alone by suicide, by their own hands?
right.
So this is what the most important thing here in the book. It says, to everyone around him, Amora's dad was a happy man. But deep inside, he lived with the kind of mental and emotional pain that you cannot see. His pain was hidden and it was hard to understand. The pain had been a part of his life for many years, even before Amora was born. He loved Amora very much and he did not want to leave her. He just wanted his pain to end. He had a mental illness that made his sadness feel too heavy to carry. He died by suicide because of the illness.
Wow.
So what would you recommend to someone that, because it is Suicide Awareness Month.
Yes, it is.
What would you say to a person who suspects that someone isn't really themselves anymore and may have those suicide tendencies or thoughts? What would you say to say or do?
Well, the first thing you would do when you suspect that someone you care about or you work with is not themselves, they just seem dejected, they seem to be isolating themselves, their hygiene may not be where it used to be, they just seem like they don't care anymore. It's just something wrong. The first thing you want to do is go to that person and lower your voice. You don't want to talk in a high-pitched voice to them. You want to lower your voice and you want to say, hey, I noticed you haven't been yourself lately. Is everything okay? Do you need someone to talk to? Just lower your voice and just get inside their mind and just see where they are and let them know that no matter what's going on, if you need someone to talk to, I'm here, no judgment. I'm here to help you. And if they do reveal to you that they're having thoughts of suicide, then that's when you need to get them help. Because if the thought has been planted into their mind, they may execute that thought.
Right,
and you don't want that to happen. So you can lead them down a path of the two of you going together to call 988 and talk with a trained professional. And also assure the person that, wow, I know what you're going through is heavy. We may not be able to solve the crisis today, but let's just walk together and take this journey
And go get
help. That's the one thing
Yes.
because you don't want people to feel like, okay, we can solve this right away. And it's not your role to fix it. You're just helping them get over to the help.
That's right.
So don't try to fix it. Don't judge them.
And I can see why you are so effective because
Yes,
you
that's perfect.
You seem to be
Yes.
able to connect. I'm sitting here listening to you, and it's like it's like you're talking to me.
Yeah.
But you're
Mike,
talking
you want,
to Monique.
did you need something?
Oh, so you want
need help? I'll help you.
I need a vacation.
Now,
For real.
now let me say this though:
Yeah,
the worst
but it's
thing,
not, yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
thing you can do is if someone comes to you and they're having thoughts of suicide and they don't want to be here anymore. This is what you don't want to do. What? Are you kidding me? Oh, come on, man. You can't be that weak. That's for the weak. What's wrong with you? I know you're not thinking about killing yourself.
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't talk to them like
Don't
that.
patronize them,
Because you're
yes.
pushing them back.
Away.
You want them to come to you, not draw away from you.
That's right. That's
yes,
right.
and make sure you lower your voice.
That's
Because
right.
that makes people feel more comfortable.
Yeah,
If
comfort.
what's up?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you today?
Yeah.
You ain't looking. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just lower your voice. What's the matter?
That is
Yeah.
excellent advice. And I hope you all hear this advice and take it and just think about those around us, because you never know what somebody is going through
that's true.
each and every day. You know, people always say that I'm like the strongest person in the room, but
I
know
think
what?
you are. Yeah,
You know what?
I do. I look at you that way.
I know you do, but I have
Tough, a fighter.
I have bad days too. And so sometimes I need a break and I need some love and somebody to say, oh, here's a hug. Because I think hugs, I like to give people hugs because I think it really changes the touch, that whole feeling of putting your arms around someone, wrapping them
and I
in
think
your
that
arms.
was one of the
That
biggest things, especially
is
during
one thing
COVID.
I do. Yes, that
And-
people need.
Yes,
It was
and
a
I
hug.
think that's why a lot of young people, I think, had a lot of problems during COVID. It's because we lost that personal connection. I remember
touch.
some daycare centers didn't. The daycare providers didn't even want to hug the children during that time, and people were not hugging or close to because they were afraid of the pandemic.
Sure,
right.
sure.
But what I think it really made it really difficult for young people to get through COVID. Our young people suffered the most during COVID. So many of them committed suicide. So many of them retreated to themselves and didn't speak to anybody and stayed in the basement, stayed in their rooms during that time, and it was very costly. And I think I think a lot of African Americans now have come out of COVID, and it's more open now. It's like we're more able to address those issues.
Right, but it's still an epidemic,
yeah,
and in our
considered
community.
stigma,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And do
we
you know,
gotta-
I like to throw the statistics out there because I
Right.
think when we talk about the statistics of suicide,
Yes.
it makes it more real.
Hit home,
So
yes.
every 11 minutes in the United States, every 11 minutes, someone dies by suicide. So we've been here online how long? Just imagine when we get done. Let's say we do an hour show.
I think about 20 minutes now. So
Yeah. That's almost 2 people.
Yeah.
So the numbers are very high.
And veterans, it's every
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
veterans.
we lose
Every-
22
Yes,
veterans a
veterans
day.
yes.
22 a
Yes,
day to
yes.
suicide.
Yes.
Yes, if you're standing in a crowded room with 20 people, it is estimated that at least 2 of those individuals are contemplating suicide at that very moment. You are more likely to encounter a person having suicidal thoughts than you are to having someone having a heart attack. And heart attacks are one of the number one causes. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 24. Most people who die by suicides are male, and 52% of suicide victims die by gunshot.
And I was surprised to find out that there are more Black males, more than ever before. And I'm not sure
Committing suicide.
why. Yes,
Yeah.
committing
Yes.
suicide. And I'm not sure what
Yeah.
what that is about. But yes, if you need help, we have DWIN, which is a department of Wayne County, Detroit, Wayne County Integrated Health. They have a hotline.
And you can dial 988. That's the best way. You
yes,
can call 988. They're
988.
here to help you. And they have trained professionals 24 hours a day. Just dial 988, just like you would dial 911 if there's an emergency. Dial 988,
988.
and there are people there that can help you. They may not be able to solve your problem today, but they can take you by the hand and guide you to a path of a better tomorrow. Just stay awake and give them time to help you. And whatever you're going through, you're not alone. I'll say
Thank
that.
you for that, Toya. And we
Yes.
really appreciate you coming. The question, though, I wanted to ask you before you go, because you did say you are a lifelong Detroiter.
Yes, born and raised.
And since we're talking about your dad and your memories of him, what are some fond memories of your childhood growing up? Maybe one or two experiences.
Okay. Well, my dad, my mom and dad, they weren't married, so my dad would pick me up on weekends and things like that. So my grandmother lived on Mack and Mount Elliott. Okay, right across from the 7th precinct. That's where the 7th precinct used to be.
I know exactly where that is. My grandmother is right off of Mack and the Boulevard.
Yes.
So that's right. Yes.
My dad would pick me up in his Channel 7 vehicle, and he would take me down the street on Mack and Parker to the Dairy Queen. There used to be a Burger King, and then there's a Dairy Queen. He would always take me to that Dairy Queen and buy me ice cream and things like that. I have so many fond memories of him. He was a Kettering High School alumni, so he would always take me to the big K, and he'd bring out his camera and take a picture of me in front of the K. So I have a lot of beautiful fond memories of the city of Detroit, especially with my dad. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful.
You're on path to be some big mogul. You got so much going on. My question is, what are you thinking of next?
Michael, I really want to start a foundation for children who have lost a parent to suicide. I don't know when it'll be, but I do want to do something along those lines, because even though I was 45 when my father died, when you hear that your father has passed away in such a tragic way, I reverted into a child. All of the memories that just flashed through my head reminded me of when I was a little girl. So even though I was a 45-year-old woman when my father died, there was
you tried to bring those days back.
Yeah, it woke me up to being a child again. My heart, I have an investment in my heart for children who've lost a parent to suicide, because there's so much negativity and so much shame about suicide. And I just want to erase the stigma. I want people to be comfortable. If my father had died from kidney failure, nobody would be sitting here looking at him like, oh my goodness, how could he do that? Well,
Right.
the brain is an organ too. Just like your kidneys can fail, your liver can fail, your heart can fail.
That's a good way to put it.
The
It
brain,
is.
the
could fail,
brain,
too.
yes,
Yeah.
the
Right.
brain is an organ, and it malfunctions sometime. And when people take their own lives, they're not in their right state of mind.
Right.
So if the brain is diseased or the mind is diseased, what's the difference from that as opposed to a person with kidney disease?
Yes, you make
Yeah.
it so clear. It's great. Isn't it good to listen
Oh,
to her?
yes.
It's just great listening to
Thank
you.
you,
Information.
Michael.
Yes,
Yeah.
excellent information.
You know, I've done a lot
So
of
thank you.
studying on the subject. of-
topic.
Yes,
We
the
can
night
tell that,
the
yes.
night that I found out that my father took his own life, I knew in that moment that I was not going to let him die in vain, and B, I was going to educate myself. It was like I was on a crazed mission to find out, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Because the father that I knew would never do that. What happened? And now I realize the signs were always there. I just didn't know what they were.
That's right.
My
That's what I was
father would
gonna say.
often joke about suicide. Like, I would call him and I'd say, "Hey, Dad, how was your day today?" And he'd go, "Oh, I had a rough day. I'm just looking for the bridge." And I would go, "Bridge? Why are you looking for the bridge?" He would say, "I like the Ambassador Bridge." And I was like, "Why?"
So that meant it was.
He was looking
Yes.
in
It
his
was in his
mind.
mind.
And I
Yeah.
would say, "Why are you
Right.
looking for the
Look for the
bridge?" He would
bridge.
say, "I'm ready to jump." And we would just laugh it off.
Yeah.
But now I realize that there was he was masking a lot of pain behind all that humor. He was a funny guy.
Yeah.
And that's why that comedian out there, I'm suspicious of people like that, because they're the ones that harbor the most pain, but they cover it up
with laughter
Yes.
and
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
LaToya Bond. My goodness.
Powerful,
Yeah.
powerful.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
I'm so
Love
glad
behind
that we met
the
too.
camera.
Yes.
Is her book.
And thank you for being
Yes,
my
love behind
co-host
the
on the
camera.
Praise
Oh,
Network.
Michael,
all
you are
those years.
amazing.
Yes.
Like I said, Michael, I came on your show just to promote my door hangers, my business, and it turned into a beautiful relationship working alongside you and missionary Hattie Humphrey.
And now you have a mission
Yes.
too. It
Yep.
may not been something that you would have chosen, but God gave you a mission, and you've picked up that mantle, and you're running
Yes,
with it. So
and God
it's
was
good.
definitely in the plan
Yes.
because I always wanted to follow in my father's footsteps. I always wanted to do that. And he was a radio host.
Yeah.
His show was called Speaking of Sports.
Right.
And so when he died and all of this happened, I thought, wow, if I had never met Michael, I never would have been able to walk in my dad's shoes.
And by the way, you have a podcast.
I have
now.
a podcast.
Let's talk a little bit about that, and we'll wrap up with you
my
talking about
podcast,
your podcast.
my
Yes.
podcast is called Speaking of Love. When my father passed away, I wanted to do something special to honor him. So many years ago, he had a radio show, WGPR, called Speaking of Sports. So when he died, I thought, I don't know anything about sports, but I know all about love. So the name of my podcast, Speaking of Love, was birthed from my father's old program, Speaking of Sports. And I interview people from all around the world, different walks of life on the subject of suicide, love, community events, but we always incorporate a little bit of suicide prevention in each episode.
And
And
you
I'm-
are
I'm-
known now all around the country and the world
Yeah.
as being a mental health
Yes.
specialist.
Yes.
Yep, I'm almost
glad
at my
I know you,
150th
LaToya.
episode. Thank you.
I'm glad I
Nice.
know you.
I'm glad
and
I
I'm
know
glad
you
we
too.
met. And thank you for coming here on Chew on This
Yes.
Detroit.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you
We
for
really
having me.
appreciate you.
Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we'll see you next time.
Yes, don't forget, tell your friends,
Yes.
relatives, your associates, everybody to listen and watch Chew on This Detroit, available on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Facebook,
Yes.
or wherever you listen to your podcast. So listen to Chew on This Detroit.
All right. It's a wrap.
This is Chew on This with your host, Monique Baker McCormick, and her co-host, Michael Van Tull, powered by the McCormick Report, Detroit's longest running online community newsletter since 2008.